the sun is shining. You have the world's best smile. And who did you get it from? Your mom or your dad?
My orthodontist, actually. I had braces for 3 years in junior high. Thank you to my French grandmother, my mammy, who paid for all four of us to have braces when we were in junior high. So back in the old days, it was the 10 grin is in, right? You remember those T-shirts?
No.
So since I spent so much time, with headgear and going to see the orthodontist and going through that misery in junior high, I always just tried to follow the philosophy that, just floss the ones you want to keep.
You really, I mean, you embody just like you just brighten a room. And it's funny because a lot of people will say that about females. You'll hear that often, right? A female brighten the room. So when I heard you, so I first met Frank. We don't really know each other. I first met Frank at 1,000,000 Cups. I didn't know
Right.
anything about you. And I'm like, his smile is like, "Whoa, it's the best smile ever." And then I got the courage because, I need courage too, to take the microphone and say to you about your smile. And then
Uh-huh.
afterwards, learning about who you are and Daniela explaining. So can you just share who's Frank Stewart? Who is Frank R. Stewart? Take the mic.
Okay. Well, if you remember a few years back, we had those big hurricanes that came through here in the northeast coast of Florida 3 and 4 years ago, right? Anyway, I was a sales manager at an oceanfront resort for vacation ownership with a top branded name in the industry. And we got closed down for a little bit because of the hurricane coming through. It was a big Cat 5. So I've got about 30 years of sales and sales management experience after college. And I'd had a couple of years before that, I'd kind of decided that, as time was going to go by, that I wanted to have an opportunity to fly my own flag, become an entrepreneur and do my own sales training and speaking and things like that because I've done a tremendous amount of speaking to groups, what we call a group podium presentation. And that's where you talk to 10 to 20 families at a time about their vacation lifestyle. And you present the idea of owning their vacations versus renting them, right? And to get people in the room, well, we'd have to bribe them, right? We'd have to give them a gift, for 90 minutes of their time. And about 15 to 20% of the people that we invited in would choose to buy, right? So I did that successfully for about 20 years, selling an intangible item, vacation ownership, on a one call closed situation. So I've talked to about 20,000 families over the years about what's most important to them. And I'd always want to find out the why. What is it that motivates them in their life, right? And as we've learned over the time, and that kind of came naturally just by following my dad's advice, but just learning because he was in real estate sales as I was in college. So he always tried to teach me, to find out what people wanted and then try to find a way to give it to them, right? So I just kind of took that philosophy to the kind of the high pressure one call close environment that vacation ownership or timeshares is commonly referred to as. So I did that for a long time, and most people don't make it in that industry for very long. They make it, for 3 months, 6 months, a year maybe. But I lasted 20 years, and I personally shook hands and closed deals on almost. We tallied it up a while back, $60 million in sales, and the average transaction was right around 15,000. So that's a lot of handshakes. It's a lot of talking to people about what's most important to them. And people always answer back, one of four things when you ask them what's most important in their life. It's their faith, it's their family, it's their health, and the wealth. And whatever order it would be, varied depending upon who you're talking to. But those were always the four things. So the advantages of vacation ownership are pretty simple. That you would just have, a plan set in place that when you had the time, you had a method or a manner to stay in world-class accommodations. It's more expensive up front to own that than it is to rent pay as you go. But once you own it outright, then you travel for just your maintenance fees. So it does save money, but it takes a long time, 10 plus years typically to hit the break even. So, but the good idea, financial considerations, are they based on the short run only, or are they based on the short run and the long? So most people would agree that it's the short run and the long run. And the philosophy that a family that plays together stays together, right? Because there's more to life than just working and getting by. So it makes it easier to get away when you have a plan. A lot of people need a plan. The failure to plan is planning to fail. Most folks don't plan to fail; they just fail to plan. Would you agree? Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's when you say yes, right? Yeah,
It's crazy.
absolutely.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. I'm thinking you're not just selling to a family. They're already in there thinking to themselves, how can I get rid of this 90 minutes, get my free
Mm-hmm.
gift, and get out? Is that
How can
the
I get out?
mentality, or
Mental abs 100% of the
right?
time.
Like
Um, so you have to turn them around. You have to do a 180. And so how you do that is by asking questions, right? Is by making a friend, finding out what they like, by asking questions, and then letting them know that it's going to be okay. I always joke around and say, I'm not going to lose any hair over it today if you don't buy. It's going to be okay. But, and when it helps
it's going to be
reduce the
okay if they
tension, it helps relax. Yeah, and so whether they bought or not, it's okay. But just like we bribed them to come in, we would give them a good deal, and then we bribe them to help them say yes. It's called a first visit purchase incentive, otherwise known as bribery, really. But I did that for 20 years, and I kind of had my fill, you know, and it was time to do something else. So when the hurricanes came through, I found myself with some extra time. And so one of my mentors, my first real mentor outside of family and friends, through a book and audio cassette tapes, was Zig Ziglar. You remember Zig? You remember Zig? Right? His core philosophy that you
I
can get everything you want in life if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. So on the banner behind me, it's got my name and the Ziglar logo. So I'm one of a couple hundred people in the world that are a Zig Ziglar legacy sales trainer and public speaker. In fact, earlier this morning, I was on a webinar with Tom Ziglar, the proud son of Zig, and he has a book out. It's called Choose to Win. So in that, he does weekly webinar trainings for the Ziglar family on the Choose to Win principles of success. So today, one of the spokes of the wheel, there's 7 different spokes of the wheel, we were talking about the physical set. And a lot of people will say that, hey, well, it's your mindset, it's your soul set, it's your physical set, and it's your heart set. In fact, that's Robin Sharma that likes to call those 4 things. Have you heard of Robin Sharma?
no.
No? He has a best-selling book out right now. It's called The 5 a.m. Club. It's a great book. But so I decided, a few years back, to start to plan my escape from corporate America and to position myself not only with the sales experience and the sales management experience that I have and the skills that I've developed along the way, but to have the credibility of being certified. So Zig still has, even though he's passed now 7 years, has over 5 million fans on Facebook.
Wow.
5 million. So that's quite a few. And he has, 30 something books. He's spoken 100 plus countries, talked to millions of people. A lot of people remember Zig from the Get Motivated series of seminars and conferences that came around real big a few years ago. In fact, check it out right here. I've got a little coin on it. It says PMA. Let me get it to the screen. Where is that? Here we go. It says, maybe you can see it. It says positive mental attitude.
Yes.
This was actually
I
given
love
to
it.
me, and it's got, yeah. On the other side, it says negative mental attitude. Anyway, it was given to me at one of those conferences, but by Zig when I bought his book, and so his whole philosophy was something that I embraced and learned the approach of how to earn business the right way, how to ask questions, how to respect people in a manner with which that they would feel comfortable in allowing their business to be earned rather than try to sell. And so that was what, I always tried to emphasize the difference when you're trying to earn somebody's business is that you find out what it is they want. And then if you can provide a solution, then that's fantastic. But if there's no problem, there's no solution. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then when the next hurricane came through, I was still in the industry, but we had some more time off. And I decided that, you know what, I was definitely going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this. So I left corporate America and my comfy, cushiony job of being a sales director and decided to go fly Han Solo and open up my own deal. And at the same time, too, my parents when needed to move out of Oklahoma to have some more health care. And so I moved them into my house and my mom and dad. And dad was in hospice about 7 months. And I don't know if that's a long time. He's passed now a few months back. But so I took the time off to be with them. And I also, one of my favorite books is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? Seen that book, right? So
Yeah.
I spent 9 months last year going through the foundation, Think and Grow Rich, to earn their certification. So graduation actually comes up in June. It's supposed to be a big event there at their headquarters in Virginia, but this year it's going to be a digital event, and that'll be pretty cool anyway. And I'm looking forward to that. And that's when I'll officially be. I can say now that I've completed the coursework for the certification. And in just a little bit, I'll be almost next month, I'll be an officially certified Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich trainer and speaker.
And the only one in Volusia County, all of Florida. Where does that? Because that's a big deal. So obviously, Volusia County, we're proud to have you. Is it all of Florida? Like,
well, that's worldwide. I'll be able to go and speak and teach the 17 principles of success worldwide, and that's exactly the plan. Is
I
to
love it, but
speak and
still
to
we like
teach.
you in Volusia, right?
Well,
Are you
absolutely.
willing?
I have a lot of ties here to the community, with Volusia County. And in fact, I've got a couple of seminars, a couple of conferences coming up here very soon. The Think and Grow Rich conference, Choose to Win. We had originally scheduled in Palm Coast, May 7th. Is postponed. Its rescheduled date is to be announced, sometime relatively soon, we hope. I have something lined up in June 4th over in Deltona with the Boys and Girls Club as a participating charity. Up in Palm Coast, it was going to be Boys and Girls Club as a participating charity, along with the American Cancer Society. So the event in Deltona was specifically designed to benefit. In fact, the majority of the profits were going to go to them there for that event because it's a fundraiser designed to help the Spring Hill Suites, and particularly the Spring Hill Suites Club of the Boys and Girls Clubs there in DeLand, where Miss Thea Ross Shavers is the club president or the club leader. And she was going to be on stage. She will be because we're going to reschedule this. She's going to be on stage speaking a little bit, and I'm going to have a couple of other people. Sean Donovan is going to be participating. Sean from 1 Million Cups. And Echo Karas will be participating as well. She's a solutions expert. So Echo, Sean, and I are kind of a trifecta of
That's a sure bet.
a package of entertainment and teachings. And so when you go to one of my conferences, you always leave with something tangible. So you're going to receive a performance planner plus a follow-up coaching session. And then in addition to that coaching session, we'll offer a second package called the Deuce. The Deuce is designed to help you with your goal setting and achievement. Because I happen to have right here one because I'm rewriting a couple of my own goals. We're all kind of taking this time to reestablish what our goals are to kind of pivot and redirect. So I took Zig's goal setting process, Brian Tracy's, Tom Hopkins, and my own, and I added in some extra emotion into the goal setting process. So the Deuce package after the conference, because it's like this, Zig always used to say, he says, well, if you come see me live, I can give you a positive attitude for the day. But if you buy my cassettes, I can impact your life.
I love that.
So I always try to give you something tangible to follow up on. Now, I don't have cassettes made yet, but I am working on my digital content right now. And I'm going to have digital webinars and podcasts, plus a whole program that we'll make available via digital downloading and things like that. So all that's to come. But we're just in the process of launching. You know, we had the Roar or Snore seminar. Did you go to the Roar or Snore seminar at the Hard Rock back on January 10th?
I was no. Oh no, I was out of town.
Well, we sold out. As a matter of fact, we worked with United Way, the Hard Rock, Boys and Girls Club, Flagler Broadcasting, Kirk Keller up there, and we sold out the Roxy Room. It was a charity donation event. We had to pack in extra chairs. It was a fantastic event. And raised a lot of money. We had a lot of great people contribute to both charities, and I was very thankful and grateful for everybody who showed up and for their contributions. It was very, very nice to be able to give in that respect. And Johnny Nomad, Johnny McGill, who's also a photographer there at the, he's awesome. And so he's my videographer and photographer. So, he did a lot of promotional videos that we announced and relayed out through the charities and through the Chamber of Commerce as well. It was a big help in promotions. So I've learned how to promote these live conferences, through having charity sponsors. In fact, Gary Yeomans Ford, Robert Macklin over there at Gary Yeomans Ford was instrumental in the sponsorship. He and Tyler Grant, very nice sales associate there. In fact, right after the event, I bought another Ford. That's 2 Fords I bought from Gary Yeomans. So they were my official sponsor of the event. And Laura Radford over at the Hard Rock was fantastic as well in making the space available, because initially I was just going to be at the conference room at the Chamber. But Laura stepped it up, and she's a member of my small business group, my RBC there through the Chamber. And so she offered to help me, with a nice rate, and if we would incorporate the Boys and Girls Club. And I was like, absolutely. So that's how I got involved with the Boys and Girls Club, was through Laura Radford and the Hard Rock Hotel. So that's how I met Robin Marcus. And Robin is fantastic. Robin is such an unbelievable business development and outsourcer for the Boys and Girls Club in Volusia, Flagler County. So I'm very blessed to have partnered up with a lot of great people. Daniela Baylor, from her social media presence, she's helped grow my organization. From my Carpe Diem Facebook page, I had a little over 100 followers when I met her. And it's all organic, it's just friends of mine, people that I knew. She helped me grow. In fact, it was Ursula Amon, actually. Ursula started to help me out to get that page launched. And then I started using Daniela out of the Chamber, because I'm involved with the Chamber. I did some last summer's adult education series. I did the goal setting and achievement for them, and that's when I met Daniela. So that was a pretty big deal. Now have over 520 followers on my Carpe Diem. So just with one event. And I'm doing also right now, actually, I'm doing Zoom meetings on Fridays at noon. Have you participated with one of those yet?
No, I'm available.
I will send you an invite, okay? And in fact, if anybody wants to attend, this week is going to be awesome. So it's a Zoom meet Friday at noon, and it's on the principles of success with Napoleon Hill. And this week's topic is applied faith. That's the third step in the 17 principles of success. You've got definiteness of purpose, mastermind alliance, and then applied faith. And applied faith is huge. It's where the rubber meets the road, and it's all about taking action, overcoming your fears, because action cures fear. Faith beats fear back. You can't have both faith and fear at the same place in your mind at the same time. Do you agree?
Love that.
Yeah.
I do. I agree also. You can't have fear. You can't have fear and gratitude at the same time. So when I start feeling the fear, I go to gratitude, and that really seems to help me. So I love that. And I think it's the same concept, but because
It is.
honestly, it took me a lot to do this. I was told about 3 years ago that I should go in and do these conversations. And I was like, I knew I could do it, but I was scared. And I had a lot of fear, like that, the equipment and would I sound awful and just everything. And then because of COVID-19, I'm thinking to myself, I want everyone to meet the people that I know, because we all share these like-minded people. So getting to know you, I want other people to do that. And I'm so impressed with how you've it just feels like you've taken Volusia County business community by the storm. And I'm jealous with that. Like how, because that's not easy to do, because I still have that fear, and I still am. I always tell people it's hard to sell yourself, but maybe I'm not as great of a salesperson as I think I am, because I do have a hard time selling myself. I could sell you, the gadget that's on my phone, which is really cool. Check that out with a custom imprint. But trying to sell my corporate etiquette speaking, I'm not good at that. So I love learning from you and understanding. And I also just have a lot of respect and admiration for just what you've offered to the community. And one more thing, I have to say this. My parents were very hugely involved in the Boys and Girls Club of Broward County, offering and donating a ton of art. And they received I think it was called the Godfather, some amazing award last year. And during that time, my father had a heart attack, and he ended up in the hospital. And my mom passed away all within a week of.
Oh,
no, but it was I know I am too, but it was they just loved the Boys and Girls Club so much.
Yeah.
There was a real love, and they would go and they loved the man, like you said, Robin. They loved the man that ran it in Broward County. And so I think that's a really great organization. That's just one of the best. So I love that you're doing things with that.
Well, first of all, I want to say, I'm sorry to hear about your mom and dad, having just gone through that. I know how, and for it to be a double whammy like that, wow, that must have really been tough. So I can certainly emphasize and sympathize with you for that, and also I wanted to say thank you so much for the kind words, and I think you're a better salesperson than what you realize, because you sold me on the idea of coming in here and talking to you, right? So
that's true.
And there's a saying that how you think determines how you act, right? And how you act determines how others react to you. And it's easy sometimes to get a little stinking thinking, or you need a little checkup from the neck up, right? And and it's easy to drop into a negative mode, because negative emotions. And you're so right. How do I get out of negative mentality? Attitude of gratitude is a fundamental, tried and true, proven manner or method of getting out of negativity. The old woe was me and pity me parties, the only problem with pity party is that nobody shows up, right? and those that do don't bring gifts.
These one-liners are great. We need to do T-shirts every line on punchlines.
So, but I think you're doing great, Adrienne, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you through the Million Cups. What a wonderful group that is down there on Beach Street, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. prior to, virus. But you can still go online and see the older ones. And now they're doing 2 speakers per session, which I think is fantastic, because it's easier to be entertained when there's a couple people, because all of our attention spans get a little short these days. So
I want to ask you a question. Do you think back on what it was, what day things seem to change for you with COVID-19? Like, I'm in Leadership Daytona. So I remember the Friday that we were having class, and then we were talking about the next week. And then it just seemed to all of a sudden, what was it like for you that when you realized, we are actually in trouble here in the USA?
That's interesting that you say that about the leadership Daytona. I was going to do that. I was talking with Ken Meeks about that, but because of my dad's condition, I chose not to because I knew that I wouldn't be able to honor the commitments with respect to going back to Oklahoma for all the things I had to go back for. But looking back at March on my calendar, I don't have a date really specifically in mind, other than it seems like around the 18th. That's the last date that I had a lot of appointments and things that I was doing. Seems like around the 18th. Uh, what about you? What date do you
I,
remember?
I think you're right. Where a lot of the St. Patrick's, they were closing some of the St. Patrick's in downtown. They did close the party, but I think I remember a few bars did continue.
Uh, and
Right.
Bike Week, the first weekend of Bike Week was big. There was a lot of things going on. And then it was during Bike Week. Everybody started across the country. Events were canceling left and right. And I remember, because how can you stop Bike Week? First of all, it's 100,000 people in 3,000 different areas, so and those free spirited individual people, you're not going to cancel them when they're in town, so I think the chamber and the local government did right by the fact that, hey, it's an outdoor event anyway, and they were already here, for the most part. So uh,
Mm.
in hindsight's always 2020. I hate it when people go, the old blame game like going on in the media right now. Oh, we should have done this. We should have done that. Well, guess what? We didn't. So we did what we did. When we did it, everybody makes the decisions based upon the information they have at the time to make those choices, right? So,
Right.
but for me, that was when it was that weekend Bike Week. So things started slowing down there for sure.
Yeah, I think to myself, the only thing I really question, like I say to myself, because my son is in Shanghai, so I was knowing everything that was going on with him, and he was telling me exactly his stories. He said to me, and now I can understand. He said, "Mom, walking outside without a mask, this was in January, is like walking outside naked with two machine guns." And I was like, I thought it was funny, but I didn't really get it. He was trying to say, everyone looks at you. You are like the center of attention. And then he said, every sneeze and every cough is like a gunshot and you duck. But I didn't, and it took him a long time to get a mask. He had to wait. And he said, why would I wait in line with everyone who has a mask and be the only one in line without a mask to wait for a mask? Because everyone who already had a mask wanted more masks. And so he finally got a mask. But I'm like, it's weird to me because I think to myself, never at any point did I say this will happen here. And so I try to like come up with why. Like I have my own question. Why did I not myself think this could be happening here? But I was told to buy toilet paper, and I did. I was literally, my friend David's like, you need to go out and buy a lot of toilet paper. And I was like a zombie. I come home, I'm like, I have enough for like 28 days as long as my husband. Some of them are one roll a day. So, but it's just, sometimes I just think of that. And then the changes, what do you see the changes for your business now? Like you're waiting, are you going to do things digitally if we're not back up and running by July?
Exactly. It's increased the speed with which I think business here in our country has embraced the Zoom technology, the group. If you talk to Chris Toes at Toes Communications, he's talked about, he's out there leading the forefront on communication processes, and he's got a lot of great ideas. And so I've spoken with him several times about upgrading some of my equipment, and I'm going to be doing some of that just so that we can better facilitate this digital process and change, so that I can provide a solution not only on content but on how leaders communicate with their teams. So kind of coaching the coaches, so to speak, right? So that's definitely the change, the digital revolution. And the other thing too, I think is really nice is two things that are side benefit from all of this. One is that we're slowing down as a society or as a country, and taking a little more time to remember what's most important, about who we are as people. It's much friendlier, everybody's out, it's kind of like going back in time with respect to, when I grew up, everybody played outside. The kids were outside till it was dark. You knew you needed to be home at dinner time. And so everybody's getting a little more quality time at home with the people that mean the most to them. Nothing more important than quality time with family. So for me, anyway, it's how I feel.
So true.
And
Are you, what about, are
my
you,
what?
sorry, the sound says, are you alone? Do
Right
you live
now,
with your mom or,
my mom
yeah.
lives with me until, in fact, we were just talking about that. So I've got my dog, Jakey Boy, but my mom is going to be moving to my sister's house in Colorado. And in fact, we're going to try to get her there by Mother's Day. So she can be there with my sister and
Wow.
her two grandchildren, the M&M girls. So we're going to try to get them over there, get her over there by that day. So then I'll have my house back to myself. But the other thing, to
Oh,
answer your
and you're
question,
right on the beach? Are you on the,
well, I'm close. I'm off of Granada, out in Breakaway Trails, Highway 40.
yeah,
So I like it out here because
beautiful.
it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's gated. Got the big 5-bedroom house, so there's plenty of room. And the beach is just down one street, so I just go down, try to catch all the green lights.
That's, I love your pictures.
How about you? What do you think has been, like for me, I was saying that I felt like, the chance to spend more time with family, plus the chance to inner reflect, to kind of reassess where you are and where you want to be. The pivot. When you do your goal setting, you have to have what it is that you want, but you also have to have a flexible plan so that you can pivot, right? Go one way or the other. And so now we're in a pivot. That's all it is. When we come out of this, there's going to be opportunity. There's going to be plenty of opportunity. So the people who are preparing, those are the ones who are going to be best suited to take advantage of those opportunities when they come along. That's the old definition of lucky, right? It's when opportunity and preparation cross paths. So when you're able to do that, I think you have much better, if you're spending all your time watching Netflix, video games, is that getting you ready to come out of this, going gangbusters? Because I think pretty soon, first the euphoria of having a few weeks off, that's kind of come and gone. Now it's the itching to get back to work and money concerns and things like that. So everybody's wanting to get back out there. We still need to lay low a little bit longer, right? So to make sure the virus doesn't come back. But once we do get that all clear, are you going to be prepared? Have you positioned yourself correctly to advance in the direction that you really want to advance? I mean, it's about putting your passion behind a plan. You apply daily persistence to your passion and a plan, then you're going to be successful. And if you start to program your mind, like Napoleon Hill teaches, your thoughts, you got to program your thoughts, time into positive emotion to what it is that you truly want. And when you're working towards that, you're unstoppable. It's just a matter of time before you hit all the goals that you want. As long as you're doing it for the right reasons and you don't give up. Never give up.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Frank. Wow. I don't know what to say because that really is, I mean, you really are hitting the right person by saying all of this. I mean, I feel like I'm positioning myself well, but I do watch too much news. And though I know it's not smart of me, I still, and I've always been this way, I'm still have like an addiction to news. And then I got a little depressed yesterday. It's weird. I went to the beach. I went over to Ormond Beach Shores. Parking was beautiful. Everyone was fine. Nobody wasn't crazy. It was very calm. But I was like, kind of like, wow, like, I guess in all honesty, what I said to myself was, it's unbelievable. Like there are some people that are just able to completely enjoy this. They live right on the ocean. They've got their boats and they're out and they're, life is good for them and they can play every day. And then I had to say, stop it, Adrienne. I live over at Integra Shores, so at a beautiful luxury apartment complex, and it's beautiful, and I love it. The pools are closed and everything, but okay. But I have to. So every day. So for me, it's a matter of making sure I'm productive. And I had Vimari last week, and she said, "Well, on Sundays I do nothing," and I thought that's would be smart for me to do, not touch anything on Sunday. And even though I went shopping and stuff and made dinner, but like, I do. I got to take classes, and I want to make sure that I love doing the candid conversation. That is amazing because it's really makes my days go by faster. I'm still selling. I'm getting my programming done. I guess like everyone else, but I don't have the energy in the morning, and I wake up very hard, very difficult to wake up and like pop out of bed. But yeah, I do get change from the top up, and I'm trying hard to just make sure that I stay on top of everything. And that I do come out, as you said, I want to be the one that comes out of this with my plan and I'm ready to move forward. But sometimes I get down and I'm like,
well, I understand. Hey, I understand. We're all going through tough times, but tough times don't last. Tough people do, right? And I'm one of those guys. I get up early. I get up usually between 5:30, 6 o'clock at the latest every day.
Wow.
Now I'm going, okay, you know what? 6:30. Okay. That's all right. 7, sometimes like Sunday morning, I get up at 7, but here's how the key is to getting up early is how you wind down the day. When you wind down the day, think about 2 or 3 things that you really want to try to accomplish the next day. Prioritize which one's the most important to you and which one's the most difficult. Okay. What's going to be the most difficult thing I have to do tomorrow? And then here's what Brian Tracy calls it eating a frog. Okay. You got to eat that frog. So what you do is you do the thing that's most difficult for you to do first. Do it, get it out of the way, because by getting the most difficult thing out of the way for you, whether it's just a normal thing, but for you, because of courage or because of fear, typically, it's more difficult, right? And fear is just a lie. Fear is nothing. It's false evidence appearing real. It takes the same amount of energy to have fear as it does faith, because they both require the same thing. It's a belief in the unknown occurring, right? It's an uncertainty coming true. So anyway, but going back to the night before, if you'll take a couple of minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes, write down 3 things before you brush your teeth, before you take your makeup off, whatever it is that you do, to prepare for bed. And you write down what's most important, what will positively impact your future, your big goal. Okay? By attaching that big goal, that passion that you have, and start getting after it, get up and at 'em, rise and shine, early in the morning, then you'll have success right out of the gate, and that'll give you momentum, that'll give you enthusiasm, that'll give you confidence, and then if you get after that thing that's hardest for you to do, you'll do that, maybe not first thing, okay, but if you get after it like second or third thing, no later than the third thing, you get after that harder thing for you to accomplish, then good, look out, because Adrienne's life's going to change. It's going to change fast, and it's going to change because you're going to have so much more confidence in your conviction. When you talk to people, it's not just what you say; it's how you say it, right? So it's your body language, it's your tonality, much more important than the actual verbiage that you use. So you do those things, and you'll find that you're going to achieve your goals much quicker. So that's just my little 2 cents there that I've learned from people who made a lot of money than me.
My daughter, I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to share it with, this is my 14-year-old. This is Mr. Frank R. Stewart. And I'm going to do this with her, Alana. You and I have a little project to do every night. Thank you, Frank, because that's amazing. And she could take the hardest homework that she has and do that. I love it. I thank you so much for this amazing conversation.
Well,
really.
It's been a blast to be here. I really enjoyed getting to know you too. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. And you know what? I think I'm going to start doing an interview. You've inspired me. I need to start doing an interview series because I've had it in my mind as one of the books I want to have. I'm going to have Sean Donovan publish it for me. My second book. I've got the idea
Nice.
flowing with it. And the first one is going through the Ziegler family, but the second one, I'm going to have Sean help me out with that. His book just hit #1 Amazon bestsellers list in the self-help category.
It did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Sean's book. Let's see. I've got it right here. #1. #1. Here it is right here. Investing in Yourself by Sean Donovan.
Wow.
Okay.
He runs the meetings, right? He's a tall-looking man.
He's a tall guy there. He's getting married to Thais. She's the great artist. Does a lot of the murals and has a store there. Her store is right there on Granada. Anyway, so Sean had a bestseller. In fact, when I was going in to order another book, The Real Truth About Vitamin E, because I'm all about health. I want to be healthy and wealthy because your health is your wealth. That's what I learned by talking to 20,000 families. Talked to a lot of guys who'd had strokes and things like that. And, it doesn't matter how much money you have if you have bad health, because your bad health is going to take all your money. It's going to take all your happiness. So happiness is a combination of things. And you got to have great health. So I was getting this book called The Real Truth About Vitamin E, and how important vitamin E is. Not just a synthetic vitamin E that you get for $5 a bottle from all these synthetic vitamins, because those vitamins are no bueno. You got to have real natural vitamins that your body can absorb, And so I was getting this book because I wanted to learn a little more about taking better care of myself, because it's just been that philosophy. How you take care of yourself now, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my middle 50s. So how I take care of myself now is how my body's going to take care of me 20, 30 years from now. Does that make sense? So I'm getting leaner, healthier.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm taking the time to be more physically fit, spending a little more time in that area, because, the an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right?
I love you, Frank. I am going to follow you now. I'm going to please send me the Friday so I can Friday. I can't wait to see you.
The Zoom invite.
I can't wait to hear you.
It's called the Positive Thought Alliance. It's an alliance of like-minded people just like you. There's about 20 to 30 of us each week right now. That number's growing. But it's a Positive Thought Alliance, Fridays at noon. It's a Zoom meeting, and it's a lot of fun. We just talk about an idea. This one's on applied faith, and then everybody participates, chimes in their thoughts and the best practices. So, it's not a college course where the instructor is a blowhard of information. It's about sharing beliefs and perspectives.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to follow you and learn more from you. So very nice. I look forward to when you start to have the training and whatever you do. I'll be in the front row too, because I like to look up at the big smile. And I don't like distractions. Even in leadership, give me the front of the class.
Hey, I know.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I'm very happy to be on. You've helped, you've inspired me to do something somewhat similar, but in a slightly different way. So I think this is a great forum that you have here, and I wish you the best of luck going forward.
Thank you. I will see you soon. Hopefully soon. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you. And then
bye.